Good to go. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Marvin, thank you so much for joining me, brother. It is an honor to be talking with you, especially because what we're going to be talking about with respect to virology is something that happened really recently. The only other time I'm aware of virology and its foundational premise regarding these obligate intracellular parasites and their supposed pathogenicity being on trial was with respect to Stefan Lanka's measles case. So this is the first time in a while that I'm aware of where virology has sort of been put on trial. So could you just go into the details of what happened with you purposefully being fined based on the measures that were in place in Germany, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sure. So basically, when the regulations were put in place, the policies in Germany basically the same like everywhere. So we had mask mandates, we had restrictions to enter restaurants and so on. We had lockdowns. We couldn't meet with more than 2 people at a time. So during all these restrictions, Stefan Lanka, who went to court in 2015 and 16 with the measles virus, basically issued a guidance on how to object this in court. The good thing in Germany is we have a law of infectious disease, which really starts in the first paragraph with a science request. So it says that everybody, every virologist, every health institution, every hospital, every authority should work according to the latest state of the scientific method. And therefore, Stefan Lanka told everyone, hey, if you get fined by these fines, just object it and say that the COVID measures, which are based on the law of infectious disease, are not rightful because the paragraph 1 of the law is already not fulfilled. So I followed this recommendation by Stefan, basically. And what I did is to prove my case, to prove my point in the court. Very early on, I sent a Freedom of Information Act, similar to those by Christine, but more focused on the control experiments. I sent one to Australia, to the University of Melbourne, to the Daltrey Institute, which basically published one of the first SARS-CoV-2 papers out of the Asian continent. And I asked them very specifically if they performed control experiments on the genome sequencing, for example. And I got a very honest and straightforward answer by them that they have not performed any controls on the whole genome sequence process, and that they didn't do it because they didn't have the resources. Basically, this is what they told me. So I had this FOIA request as a proof in the court, and I sent many other proofs. For instance, I quoted the German Society of Science, which clearly says that in order to be in line with the scientific method, you have to do controls, you have to control all your methods, and so on. You have to document every result and everything. And these are very standard methods and standard rules. And our Center for Disease Control in Germany, called the Robert Koch Institute, RKI, is supposed to follow these rules. They say it on their website also, and they are by law obliged to do so. So this everything together was my strategy in the court here in Germany, in Hamburg. And I also consulted 3 other cases with the same strategy. And all of them got closed. So all were won. Nobody had to pay the fine. And this is basically what happened. I was fined, as you said, it was intentionally. I went outside very early on and collected as many fines as I possibly could, not wearing a mask, to be very quick into going into the court. So yeah, I just went inside the police office without a mask and asked, for the fine. And also in the street where I lived, I did it.
What was their
Um,
response when they saw that you were being fined intentionally?
yeah, I just gave them my ID without even talking or bothering. Like
Wow.
this was very quick. And also on the street where I lived, I had a chat with them to check how the police officers were reacting to my arguments. But then yeah, it was very easy. And also on some demonstrations in Hamburg, sometimes what happened was very funny. I didn't wear a mask, and when the police approached me, I showed them, or I gave them my ID, like without even finding an excuse, and they just ignored me and went further to the next person. So they were kind of overwhelmed with this reaction. But yeah, jokes aside, this is what I did, and then some weeks or months later, I received the fine, and I objected it, and then it went to the court, and then I received a invitation for the court trial, which already was like 1.5 years later. In October last year was the first invitation. Then 2 weeks before, I received a letter from the court that the judge is apparently sick, and then that this will be postponed. And then I followed on like for weeks and months. I didn't hear from them, and I thought, okay, they just ignore it, and they just close it without even doing the hearing. But then finally, like 6 weeks ago, I received the invitation, and on the 26th of April, so very recently, we had this court trial. We had many people here in Hamburg coming, like 100 of people. The courtroom was completely full. And I made my arguments. I stated my points. The judge told me, okay, basically you sent here all these documents, all these proofs. And then he invited as a witness also the police officer who gave me the fine, but basically she couldn't remember anything. She couldn't recall it. So this was just a basic protocol and standard stuff. And then he just closed the case. Basically, he told me, yeah, you were fined like more than one time already, and I don't see any reason to fine you again, or basically to fine you at all. And then he just closed the case, and I asked him, why are you not issuing an official statement, or or even sentence me, whatever. And then he said that he doesn't see it in this case, and for him, he doesn't want to bother me any longer, and he will close the case, which is fine, because this happened like 4 times, as I told you before. So all of the 4 cases that I supported with this strategy here in Hamburg were closed, which is 4 times winning. And the court is just helpless. They cannot possibly do anything else, because in the case that they would fine someone finally, we could always go to the second level, to the higher court, and there it would be required to check the evidence, and that would be, of course, detrimental. And therefore, they just close it on the first stage very early on, without public attention, and very easy for them. Of course, we made it public anyway, so many people now know by following this approach that you will never pay any cent.
So basically, what you're saying is you this is speculation, of course, but what you get the feeling or the impression of is that they don't want to take it to the next level, because then they would be forced to sort of admit that their so-called measures were not based in anything that strictly adheres to the scientific method. No strict proof with proper controls. Obviously, you could also have used properly identified independent variable. There's several things really you could show where virology does not adhere to the scientific method, and this is the premise by which they, brought about these measures.
Yes, this is what I suspect, and also it became quite obvious actually, because the court in all these four cases never made any argument or any comment on all the documents that I handed in, like not even one sentence. So they kind of totally ignored this. And of course, Stefan Lanker's case in 2015 and 16 was unprecedented, and the community and the legal community knows about this, of course, and they don't want to, this is my opinion now, I think they don't want to risk something like this again.
Let the cat out of the bag, essentially.
Yeah,
They don't want to let
exactly.
the cat out of the bag. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so frustrating too, just for the people watching this, and it'll be covered later on during this event. But Stefan Lanka's case, if you look that up on any search engine, of course, you'll find that he lost in court, but that is not the case, because when he appealed, he actually won because there was not sufficient evidence to prove the existence or the pathogenicity of the measles virus. So when it comes to your case, this is sort of building on that context in Germany. And it sure as heck seems as if they definitely don't want to bring this to the next level for fear of letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak, with regards to virology not adhering to the scientific method.
One more comment, which is very important. Not only did Stefan win in the higher court of Stuttgart, but the doctor who wanted to have the 100,000 euro prize money and handed in these 6 publications, he wanted to go to the highest court of Germany, like the 3rd level, but then he was not allowed to do so. So they really shut it down after the 2nd level, after Stefan won. So this is also something that not many people know, that the highest court just did not let the doctor go on further.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I actually had never heard that. That gives even more credulence to the idea that they don't want to let the truth out about the pseudoscience of virology. And as a final question, Marvin, Del Bigtree in the United States has said a number of times now that the no virus position is an incorrect approach to take, because that would enable people like Anthony Fauci and some of these other people who have perpetrated this fraud against humanity to walk off scot-free. He's been quoted as saying something to the effect of, by focusing on the idea that there is no virus, we're allowing the people who perpetrated this whole situation to get off free, because by not focusing on the gain of function issue, we're allowing them to walk away free. What are your comments to that with what you've experienced with your case?
Yeah, I don't agree to this argument, because first of all, Fauci, Drosten, and many others were claiming that there is a virus, first of all. So if there is no virus, and we can prove it by our own control experiments that turn out to be positive as well, and also by the scientific documents that were issued by the virologists themselves, the original publications, we can show in the original publications that they have never followed the scientific method, and they have not isolated any virus whatsoever. So by clearly stating that, we can put them in a very difficult situation as well. We are not letting them run, because I don't understand this argument, honestly, because they always said that there is a virus and that they have scientifically proven it, and this is totally wrong. This was based on scientific fraud and not following the method. And the gain of function experiments, you can call it like a distraction strategy by them, or you can call it misinterpretation. I don't care at all, because I'm just focusing on the facts, on what actually went on in the real lab. And this is not a gain of function. This is just pseudoscience, like you said. It's experiments in cell culture. It's no experiments in vivo whatsoever. It's just artifacts, stressing cell culture with antibiotics and other toxins, and so on. No direct proof, just indirect proof, and so on. So this is totally sufficient for us to really put them in a very difficult spot. And I think they would love us to go the gain of function route, because somehow they could use this as an escape hole to protect the virus idea, right? If there is a gain of function experiment, then it implies that you can create a virus on like artificially, but this is not our goal to go this route.
Yeah, Mark and Sam Bailey will be covering the gain of function narrative more extensively later on during this event. But just a quick comment, you bring up a great point. I think that the gain of function narrative is actually has scarier future implications, in that now we have the alternative side latching on to this idea of lab-made viruses, and this idea is much more fear-inducing, that you could take something that is naturally occurring, which is also, there's no proof of that in the first place, but take something that's naturally occurring and then make it, sort of weaponize it and make it more lethal. This is not only something that perpetuates the idea of virology, which has no basis in reality, but it also gives them plausible deniability surrounding all of the measures, because then they can claim, well, yeah, the virus was made in a lab, but ultimately it was an accident, and we tried to come up with the best measures that we could in order to help humanity, and that was masking, isolation, and vaccines and things like this. Whereas the lack of proof of viruses altogether sort of puts it in the category of deliberate fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Marvin, thank you so much for joining me. This was an incredible conversation. And if you enjoyed this session, please subscribe to Marvin's list and Next Level's list below, and stay tuned for more.
Thank you.
That was great, dude.
Okay, perfect.
Short and to the point.
Yeah. I had a couple of interviews with Sam Bailey and Kate and others. So I'm already experienced with talking about this case in English.
Yeah, you did great, man. I think your English is better than mine. By the way, I used to live in Germany. I played professional handball for TSV Bayer Dormagen. I lived in between Dusseldorf and Cologne. So
no kidding. My father played for this sports team when I was a very small young boy. He played in the German Bundesliga when TSV Bayer Dormagen was playing in the...
No way.
Yeah, he was professional player as well.
I gotta show you.
And I played for many years quite professionally as well. Not in the Bundesliga, but in the one below, the highest league for the youth. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you a picture. This is funny. This is in. I hope you'll be able to see it. Yeah, so long story short, I used to play on the U.S. national team for handball, and handball is not very well known in the United States, but I had an opportunity to play for, there's me a long time ago. You see the Bayer logo on my uniform.
Is this in the arena of Bayer Dormagen?
Yeah.
I played a couple of matches in there as well. Yeah.
What position did you play?
Middle, like a
center back.
Backwards, center back, yes.
Yeah, center back. I forget the German name for it. I'm left-handed, so I played. I don't know what I would be in centimeters. I'm 6'2", so I'm like the typical height of a Bundesliga right wing. Yeah. So I would sometimes play right wing, sometimes play right back. So yeah, small world.
The German word is Rückraummitte.
Yeah,
Rückraum is like backwards, and then I think 6'2" is almost my size. I think I'm 6'1" or something like that. So it's very close. Yeah,
that's amazing, man. Small world. That's crazy that
very funny.
I've been there before. Yeah, nuts. Okay. Well, thanks again, Marvin. Really appreciate it, brother. And if you're on Telegram, I'd love to stay connected. We also have a group on Telegram with myself, Dr. Sam Bailey, Dr. Amanda Vollmer, Don Lester, David Parker, and several others where we regularly talk about all this stuff. So I'd love to add you to that chat.
Sure.
I just sent you my Telegram username.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All
Awesome.
right, I enjoyed it. Looking forward, and I'm excited to see the whole film
Yeah, it's going to
or
be great.
documentary. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, brother. I
Right.
appreciate it.
Okay, stay in
See ya.
touch. Bye bye.